Greetings, my fellow imposters, and a good time of day to you all. Let's talk about fear. Surprise, surprise, right? Isn't that a topic that is just so in tune with the times? You are very welcome. On the other hand, it's like, here we go again. Another guy who has an opinion on other people's opinions and will happily dispense his logic in a let me set the record straight sort of fashion. No thank you, can't stand another opinion. Next. Well, that is certainly not my intention, and going into this, I have no opinion, only some observations. Plus, those observations are mostly related to myself and are deeply introspective, pardon the tautology. Also, pardon me for using a word like tautology. Also, pardon the double pardon. No, that's what I call redundant. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. Fear. There's a few problems with fear. The thing I dislike most about it is its lingering and controlling nature. It becomes like a habit, like a damn involuntary reflex. It's been shown that the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for the fight or flight response, enlarges in people who are exposed to continuous stress. No wonder. It does its job by releasing stress hormones. So obviously, if a person experiences prolonged stress, it'll go, we got our work cut out for us here, people. We need more capacity, and it will get bigger. That just makes so much sense from a mechanical, from a systemic point of view. The problem is that it does not get smaller again. So after a while, you just become hyperactive and hypersensitive. I've discovered that for myself too. And after 30 years of that, it can get a bit tiresome, I'll tell you. Again, from personal experience. The issue then becomes that because your body has practiced that reaction for so long, essentially the reaction of identifying threat, you get real good at it and also really fast at it too. And this, my friends, does have an unfortunate and serious consequence. There are no low stakes anymore. Everything becomes high stakes. Whether it's worrying about your rent or it's watching your kids putting their shoes on very slowly, one by one, although it has been mentioned multiple times that you are definitely running late. And then you lose your temper and you raise your voice and then you say nothing on the whole ride to school and it ruins your whole day. Plus, rationally, you know the stakes are so low it wasn't worth it. Your kid is in second grade. It does not matter if they're a couple of minutes late. But you've had your reaction already and now you apologize, but it doesn't just undo your ruined morning. And you swear never again. The days without incidents counter is reset and you start a new week, hoping you'll see those malicious knee-jerk reactions of anger caused by fear coming a mile away and be able to stop and control yourself. Obviously you fail again, but you try again. And you should always try again. Just because you have been conditioned by unfortunate circumstances does not mean that needs to be you for the rest of your life. I sure as hell do not want that for myself. Life is way too short, and I'd like to think that it's supposed to be abundant and rich in experiences. And while I definitely subscribe to the notion that there is a wide spectrum of experience, and life is about the full spectrum, I would also argue that for many people that balance is offset, skewing heavily towards lingering negative emotions and just a general negative state of mind. And I think that the habit of reacting, making decisions, and then acting out of fear is a big part of it. So many of us do it out of reflex, out of familiarity even. It's our modus operandi. I apologize. I shall put another dollar in the fancy word jar. Bottom line, you get used to living in fear. Trust me, I know. I was raised that way. And where and when and how I grew up really conditioned you in that sense and gave your amygdala quite the workout. Personally, for the longest time, I don't know how, but I managed to make good use of the fear. I use it as a motivator, not as a dictator. It had its own dedicated confinement, and I took it everywhere with me, almost like a lucky charm. I took it into jobs, business endeavors, and relationships, but it's not serving me anymore. It has escaped its gilded cage and leached into places it does not belong, and has contaminated too many rooms inside my mind that I'd kept pristine and used to enjoy. And it started lying to me to get me to succumb and let it take over. It's trying its darnest, but that's not gonna happen. Listen, the road to recovery is long and slow, and surely it's more of a journey than a destination. But the true antidote for me personally is excitement. Instead of looking at things from a fear-based perspective, try to look at the same thing from a place of excitement. Your kid is taking way too long to dress up and you're running late. But how exciting is the time you get to spend together? There's only a finite number of these mornings, and that's all the reason you need to slow down for 1 minute, take your time, be present. Another trick I use sometimes that works especially well to ground you if you do have kids is that I imagine 70-year-old me reminiscing about this time in my life. And then I imagine 70-year-old me waking up in this body at this time of my life with all its perceived problems and ailments. And I cannot help but think it would feel like an absolute blessing. And let's not allow looping knee-jerk reactions rob us of our excitement. As always, thank you for listening. Be good.